A playbook to guide firms on AI adoption is among the measures being explored as the government steps up efforts to partner businesses and workers to manage rapid technological change and to boost productivity. It's part of the Economic Strategy Review's ongoing work as it refreshes plans to secure growth and create quality jobs. Sherlyn Seah reports.
You can inform the passenger about your delay.
From crafting better messages to identifying the best hours and locations to maximize earnings, these private hire drivers and delivery riders are learning how to use AI to stay productive on the roads. They are part of an upskilling workshop by Grab. The ESR's Human Capital Committee is engaging businesses to see AI and training in practice. At the heart of it, aligning business transformation with workforce transformation.
We have to think about how to help businesses begin the first step, clarify their own strategy on going forward, have a clear plan, perhaps coming up with some playbook that companies can easily take on board some of the experiences other companies have already done, maybe at the sectoral level, so that they actually can then get a clearer idea of how to apply AI into their own business processes and also at the same time bring their workers on board on this journey.
The committee is also examining how to strengthen links between schools and workplaces so graduates are more job ready. And as workers progress in their careers, how they can continue learning on the job to keep up with new technologies and changing industry needs.
This comes after a midterm update by the ESR committees last week. We set out recommendations to secure Singapore's economic growth and create quality jobs amid a rapidly changing global environment. That includes the key push to establish Singapore as a global AI leader and make lifelong learning practical for both workers and firms.
For Grab, that means scaling up training across its ecosystem. The company says it aims to train more than 10,000 drivers, riders, and merchant partners by 2028, equipping them with AI and other skills.
It's not about just making time to learn, but it's putting learning as part of your job that you need to do. So we have actually a whole series of programs on both AI skills and non-AI skills that we think are complementary to building an AI-enabled employee that we are rolling out throughout the year. So those are things that we continue to pursue.
The ESR committee says work is still ongoing with more engagement sessions planned. Some initiatives may be announced in the upcoming budget, while final recommendations are expected in the second half of the year.
So what exactly would a playbook on AI in the workforce look like? Well, let's take a look at how other countries have approached the same topic. In the UK, an AI playbook was launched last year. It's geared at those working in the public sector to use AI safely, effectively, and securely, while managing risks around data, bias, and accountability. While in the US, an AI action plan dedicated a section to training workers like electricians and technicians needed to maintain AI infrastructure from data centers to advanced computing systems. And over in China, its AI Plus plan targets an intelligent economy by 2035. It centers on upskilling workers and exploring human-machine collaboration across manufacturing, services, and research. But experts say the efforts by the various jurisdictions might still be fragmented. Plus, a shortage of AI researchers needed to drive the fundamental innovation behind these systems. And for Singapore, it plans to grow its AI practitioner pool to 15,000 by 2028. It's also looking to cultivate AI bilingual talents who combine domain expertise with technical knowledge and AI fluency. In Singapore, AI skills development is a central pillar of the nation's AI strategy. The Economic Strategy Review has highlighted the need to strengthen Singapore's workforce by equipping workers with relevant skills and preparing them for AI disruption. And joining us to discuss this is Marcus Lam, who is Executive Chairman of PwC and a member of the Economic Strategy Review's Human Capital Committee. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, from your perspective, how prepared would you say Singapore's workforce is today when it comes to AI adoption? And what are the most urgent gaps you perceive?
I think to me, Singapore is more prepared than 2 years ago. I think we all see the enormous amount of change that AI has created in the last 2-3 years. So today, if you walk to any organization and any of the employees, they understand and they appreciate that AI is in place and AI will change the way that we work and how the enterprise is going to develop in the future. There's anxiety in the market, right? But the preparedness is improving every time that I meet any workers in any of the enterprise. The gaps that we see in the market, I mean, they are clear gaps. Larger enterprise will be a little bit ahead. The smaller enterprise, because of the lack of either resource or the vision of how to take AI as a differentiator in the company, are a little bit behind. The enterprise that are most exposed to AI, whether it's in the financial industry, in the tech industry, right, in the consumer industry, they are more likely for their workers to be more equipped to handle and more aware. So I see gaps depending on which segment of the industry you're in, and also I see gaps depending on whether the workers or the employees, their role, whether they're exposed to the advancements of AI. So younger workers that just join, actually, you would say that they are fairly exposed to it by now because the school are informing them about the importance of AI. And so they get a little bit of practice, and so they're exposed. The workers that may be in a role for a long time that has not been subject to change, they are less exposed. Yeah.
So beyond the obvious skills like coding or data science, what would you say are some specific skills that workers do really need when it comes to staying relevant in an AI-driven economy?
Actually, the coding and the data used to be what we think are important after the last 2-3 years. And yesterday, as you can tell, Anthropic has released a version that almost sort of disrupt the software company. In short, if you are looking at AI now, it's no longer just being able to do a prompt, being able to do a data engineering or doing a workflow process and re-engineer that, right? What it comes down to, what we have to focus on is, at the end of it, AI is a technology tool that empower and enable the individual to do his work better. The individual that we like them to still, right, perfect their skill on is about critical thinking, decision-making, right, communication, and being able to discern, interpret, and synthesize the data that's been given to them. And that's the level of skill actually a lot of Singaporeans have, right? They're being trained, but it's just that you are now asking them to take on the level of sophistication a little bit earlier than in the past. So they may not have the domain knowledge. And so we are in a phase now that we have people with the domain knowledge, right, the younger ones may not have. And so how do we make sure that we can have a good transition by having those with domain knowledge to be enabled with the technology and the AI fluency, those without be able to have the domain knowledge from the more experienced worker and help them to gain the knowledge about, most importantly to us, is humanistic skill. Yeah.
To bridge that gap then, to do what you say, which is to bring those two domains together, what needs to change in our training and skills ecosystem in order for that to happen?
Yeah, so a lot of our focus in the past, but I've said this as advanced, a lot of focus in the past is you train people ready for work. With technology and if with AI now, I don't think you can do that, because the technology advancement is so quick. So you have to accept that for many of the workers and employees, how do you incorporate learning practical experience from the day that you started learning? And from a working standpoint to continue to upskill your skill about learning about technology as you advance in your career.
Yeah.
So
I want to pick up also on, as you talk about this group of workers here, there's a concern that for mid-career workers and also the non-tech workers, they could be more exposed to AI disruption. So what does meaningful AI upskilling then mean for this group of workers?
So I think for this group of workers, meaningful AI means that you have to allow them to experiment. That's called meaningful AI. And every organization has a chance to look at, in their work, how do you allow them to experiment and use the tool to improve personal productivity? Secondly, look at any of the function within the organization. Do they have a chance to participate in project to redesign their own work in order to be ready, right, in order to participate in the process? So for all those workers, as long as their organization has a desire to do it, has a clear vision of doing it, and then you can bring your employees along. If you have no clear vision and thinking about what do you want to gain out of AI, it's very hard for any of the workers to participate, especially those that has been doing the same work all the time. The only way they can improve is redesign what they could.
Well, Marcus, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. I've been chatting with Marcus Lam from PwC.